What's happening? Kyle Postalway, aka Malcare here at Big Kitty Games. My mic was kind of peeking into the red. It still is a little bit. I turned the gain down a bit. Didn't change the inputs at all. So I'm not sure why all of a sudden it looks like it's picking up a lot more volume, but not a big deal, assuming it's working. I had to get up at 5 a.m. this morning for a call. So I'm pretty tired. But anyway, I wanted to talk about some things before we get into any sort of development. Largely just that I was having a real rough time last week. Stuff's just kind of been a bit overwhelming lately. The skill system has been really, it's a lot. And because it's taking so much time, I've got people saying, please fix these bugs, please add this, please do that. And that's ongoing. It's all ongoing. But just kind of the enormity of the skill system and the fact that it's not done. If I have to work on anything for longer than 2 or 3 months solid, it starts to really wear on you. And so I kind of been putting it down, trying to do other things to kind of get away from it. But then it just kind of sits in the back of your head. It's kind of like this extra weight on your shoulders. So I think really the best thing to do is to just push through it, because there's really not a lot of work left. And kind of the best way to do that really is for me to stream it. Because I'm really on point when I'm streaming. It's like I don't mess around. I don't take a break to watch some YouTube video or play with the cats or whatever. I usually work I'll go to lunch and then I'll do 1 to 5, and then I'll break till 8, and then I'll do 8 to 11. And I'll take little breaks throughout all of that. So sometimes I'm working 12 hours a day, but sometimes in total it adds up to more 6 hours a day, because I get distracted and I'm doing stuff. And when I'm streaming, that doesn't happen. So initially, I got really excited when I started streaming for the first time. I think 2 years ago now, it's been a year and a half. Back in 2019, I want to say. No, it's 2022 now, so 2020. I think it was December 2020. So just a little over a year ago. But I was streaming AM and PM. And when you're streaming on Twitch, there's these milestones that they want you to pass to get accepted as, or recognized as an affiliate. And I cleared all of the milestones within a few days, except for one, which is average concurrent viewer. And so for the PM for me, that ends up being the middle of the night for West Coast America, which is where I'm from. So, it's 3 in the morning. So I stopped doing that, just kind of because I was thinking, well, that'd be cool to be labeled affiliate. And that unlocks tips and emojis and different things. But really, that's not the reason that I started streaming. Yeah, it would be cool, But the real reason I started streaming was for the motivation and, just kind of for the ability for people to be able to even just come in and say, what's up, kind of stuff. And also really kind of, like even the reason that I'm doing this right now, talking about my problems, because talking out loud through stuff like this is really super helpful. I think it's called the rubber ducky principle or something like that in programming, where if you get really stuck on something, you grab a rubber ducky and you explain your problems to it. Because to articulate in complete sentences the problem, in great detail, usually is something that you're not going to be doing in your head when you're just looking at like your code base. And so when you really talk through something verbally out loud, it really helps you get through it, find the solution. And that's 100% true for me. When I talk out loud like this while I develop the game, it really helps. Not that I get like stuck on stuff so much, but still helps kind of speed things up in a way. Like there's a part of me that wants to make the argument that because people are coming in and asking me questions and talking and stuff, that it's counterproductive, but that's not true. Like in the long run, yeah, maybe there might be a minute or 2 or 5 or 10, but in the long run, the whole streaming thing has actually been really productive for me. What's up? I can't pronounce your name. I am GG XCXA. So yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of thinking I might start streaming PM again as well. Was the cat cam not working? But probably not today. Like I said, I got up at 5 a.m. this morning for a call, so I'm pretty tired. But yeah, long story short, I'm going to just try and push through the last few things to do with the skill system. And one of those things, well, I was kind of going to show off some of the different things I want to work on, but yeah, I don't really want to get into that, to be honest. There's my wife. Singing and dancing behind me. Dostan. Happy to be alive. The game is out in early access on Steam. She didn't know I was live, apparently. So yeah, it's unpolished. It's not AAA or anything like that, but we are out and live. Dosan? Miteru? Daijoubu da yo, Dosan. She didn't know I was live. Anyway, so one of the things that I noticed was wrong or missing was we're still lacking a bit in some of the icons. And there's just like 2 or 3 things left to do, so I'm just going to go through them and get them done. There's like other stuff I want to be working on. Thanks, I am GG. Sorry there isn't like a demo, but there is a lot of video on YouTube and whatnot. We have a Discord, definitely. You can just search for Solace Crafting. Discord server, official server. Trying to think. Let's open up skills, spreadsheet. I want to open up sprites. I think it's our new skills in here. And I want to get a second window open. I think this is where it is. What did I call that? Okay, these are the new ones. And where is the folder that I'm pulling from? Did I put it? Yeah, it's right here. Okay. So these are like most of the icons that I own, which is a lot of them. And there's lots of different types that don't really fit the same style. So I loaded all the ones that are kind of the same style into one big folder. And from here, I'm going to choose icons for those that I don't yet have. Let's actually start the game up because I'm not 100% sure. Hi, BB. Which ones are missing? And if I were a real streamer, I'd have a bot with a Discord link and all of that stuff, wouldn't I? I don't think I have any bots. I don't know really how that stuff works. Just not something I've invested the time into yet. But let's see. So Squire icons are good. Fighter icons I think are good. Guardian tree not loading. What the heck? Oh, that's a bug. What's going on here? No one has reported that to me, I don't think. It's not happening on beta, but it's happening to me now, so time to figure it out. No points have been loaded. Well, let's see. I did change the buff UI. Actually, I think I'm going to reopen that so I don't forget that I changed that. See, my voice is kind of raspy and I'm kind of lackluster today because, like I said, I got up at 5 a.m. So my apologies for not being more energetic today. Let's see. Skills UI should be firing a variety of stuff. Current skill tree set to Guardian. Refresh skill tree. Clear skill tree is obviously firing. I'm just going to toss some debugs in here because something's not working. We want to figure out what that is. Kuji 20. Let's make sure that it is grabbing all of the skill templates properly. Because that's what actually spawns and loads these in, and it looks like this is not firing for some reason. It's always something. I'm just gonna double check the skill template folder. I suppose I could post a... Isn't there a... Where's the Discord link? There it is. Skill templates, Guardian, they're all in there as normal. Could have been a fluke, but not really any flukes in programming too often. Something doesn't work, it doesn't work. And it does what it tells you, so when it's not working, it's your fault. The debugs are firing, but it's not getting the templates. You can see with the fighter it gets 25. For some reason, the Guardian tree is not grabbing the templates properly. Current skill tree. There's no reason that that should not be working, but we'll add that in there just to make sure that this is the variable being used. This is where it's getting called from. Current skill tree equals Guardian, assuming we've hit the Guardian button. Guardian button could be the cause. We could look at that just to rule it out. Adventuring group, Guardian button knows that it is the Guardian button, so that's not the problem. We've clicked, we've sent Guardian, we've set the current skill tree to Guardian, and then refresh should get called immediately. Clear skill tree is not ruining that, so this should be working. And if it was null, this would break it anyway. We did make it down to here. So what's wrong with... Oh, you know, I'll bet I know what it is. I'll bet I renamed this folder Guardian, even though it was named Guard previously. Yeah, there it is. I named this Guardian last week because that's the actual name, even though it was called Guard. Anyway, I'll look at that in a second. Let's keep looking at the rest of these icons. So here we've got dodge is this guy for whatever reason. It's the green claw. And we're reusing that here twice. So dodge works, but what is this? Poison trap. Okay, we don't have one for poison trap. Stealth. Okay, scout's missing a whole bunch of them. And I think they all are after Guardian. Kind of some of these later skills. Yeah. There's a fair amount. Etheric tearing. Yeah, okay. So they've all got some late game icons missing. Fighter and Guardian I think are good though. So let's double check Guardian though. Icon, 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 icon. You don't have one. Opening strike. Okay. This is actually though, this is an upgrade for shield bash. So we're going to use that, and it's going to have the upgrade border around it. Armored healing. I don't think we have one yet for that. So let's see. Akiyotsuke na. Ah, wakatta. I think there were some cool, yeah, I think in here. That's not terrible. Armored healing reduces the negative effects of wearing armor. Heavy armor, or reduces the... Well, that's kind of cool too, actually. I don't like putting crosses in game. I could get rid of that. Maybe I should put these over here, huh? I'm looking at this one or this one. I think I'm gonna go with this one. So I'm gonna cut that out so I don't reuse it. And this is gonna be... I forget how I... 12 guard 21 22 12 guard, and that should be guardian, but I already named there some guard, so I'm just gonna stick with that. 12 guard, 22 armored healing. And we've actually got this skill in 2 different places. Right. Yeah, that's why it says Guardian Training. So I'm actually going to take the 1222 stuff off of there and make that a generic icon. I believe it is Priest that also has that. Let's go find it. And make sure that it is marked as a sprite. And then we can assign it to here. And the priest version as well. What's the matter, kitty? Posture check. Hi, kitty. What are you doing? One hand speed. Don't think this is used anywhere else. Kind of specific to sword and board type. Right off the bat, that's not terrible. But let's poke around. This is my super professional method of finding good icons, because I don't have money to pay for someone to make specific ones for me. Most of these I have got from Humble Bundles over the years, like over the past 4 years, every once in a while, they'll put out a big pack of game developer goods. And I've bought some of these myself too for, $20 for a pack of 500 or whatever. Would be cool someday to be able to specify to someone and, say, I'll give you $50 for every, I like that one, for every icon you give me. Alright, cat, need the keyboard. Sorry. So this is going to be 1, 2, guard, and then I think 26 one hand speed. And I'm just going to leave that there. We'll assign it. Let's see. How about I open... Let's lock the main project window there. And then we can lock this one. Here. It is locked. Okay. So that we can do... Set this to sprite. Hit apply. And assign it. All in one go. Then what else do we have? Lay on hands I've got with sprite on it for some reason. What does that look like? Smite. Yeah, there's no reason for that. I don't think I have a lay on hands one selected though, do I? No. So let's go back to those priesty, paladin-y skills. Lay on hands. Not really. These are all kind of magic-y looking. Cats are all squawking at something outside. What's the matter? Do those tiny little meows. Meep, 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 meep. About the only thing that I do with these icons usually is change the color. So it doesn't matter if it's purple or red or, bloody or whatever, as long as it looks good. I've got decent Photoshop skills, so I can hide something or add something or recolor, etc. But prefer not to, if possible. And I know this is super exciting to watch, but again, this is kind of more for me than it is for the purpose of streaming. Me streaming makes me very focused on getting the task at hand done. So I'm going to keep streaming. Not seeing a good one for lay on hands, unfortunately. Might just have to do something like this. This one wouldn't be terrible either, that we were kind of looking at. Kind of weird though. This one I'm already using, I think. Yeah, so let's actually delete that. We don't want to be copying stuff. There's a lot of hands here, but these all look like sorcery to me. Even though they're white and yellow and whatnot. I think I'm gonna go with this one. For lack of something better. This is gonna be a level 28. 1, 2 is, I do 0 for archetypes, 1 for jobs, 2 is the second job, guard, and then level 28, lay on hands. Mark it as a sprite and assign it. Empowered protection doesn't have one either. Further increases the armor levels provided by protect. Okay, so that's basically an upgrade to protect. Did we change? Oh, no wonder I was confused. We're not looking at guard. We're looking at the priest because I changed armored healing. I was like, lay on hands, isn't that? That sounds like a paladin skill more than a priest skill, but it is a guardian skill, but it's actually a priest skill. So this is 18 priest, 28 lay on hands, I believe. Yeah. All right, let's go back to the guardian tree. We were not done there, I don't think. Block, sunder, max health, pummeling blows. Your bludgeoning weapons gain a chance. Basically just need a hammer, like a bludgeoning. I think that's fine to have as a generic. That's not bad. Bludgeoning. Of course, the paladin area's got a bunch of hammers in it. I'm probably going to want to use those someday for paladin skills, but we can always change and repair things. Pummeling blows. This is 12 guard, 26. Pummeling blows. Did I get that right? Yeah. Mark it as a sprite. And assign it. Destructive cuts is for your sword-based guardians. That looks good to me. Guard 26. What was it? Destructive cuts. Am I typing? What's going on? I'm not typing. Where'd it go? $12 guard 26 destructive cuts. Mark it as a sprite. And we're good. Spell block I've got. Reversal I've got. Okay. Guardian tree finished. Adventure. Poison trap is currently using dodge. Not good. Pretty sure it doesn't have one ready for it. Nope. Let us find one. Poison trap. It's actually a trap upgrade, so it's just supposed to use trap, isn't it, actually? And then it's got the upgrade border around it, same as the archer stunning trap, right? Don't know why that has aimed shot on it. Good. Poison trap, dodge, stealth we don't have. Let's find one. Sneaky, sneaky. I think there's an assassin group up at the top here. We can make our way up by looking at the rest of them, though. Here we are. Is there going to be a stealth skill in here? There's a nice poison trap, anyway. Yeah, not really an obvious stealth. We went all the way up to archer. Let's go in the opposite direction. Doesn't have to be a fading person necessarily. Could be a foot or a boot or an animal sneaking or a representative animal like a spider. People sure don't like spiders, though. Bat. Some of these are pretty hard. Sneaky, sneaky skill. That's not terrible, to be honest. Let's go with it. I think I'm going to color it different, though. So I got up at 5. So I had breakfast at 5. So now it's been 5 hours since I had breakfast, even though it's only 9:45. I'm hungry. So I might cut this stream at like 11 or something. My wife is not going to be here for lunch nor for dinner. So I might run to the store and get myself some burrito fixins, since she doesn't really like burritos, but I certainly do. It's kind of like green for general roguey abilities. It kind of looks better than purple. Purple doesn't look bad either, really. Gray kind of didn't look too bad either, to be honest. He's hiding in the shadows. We'll just go about like that. This is 1-3-20. Stealth. Bittersweet we've got. Ambidexterity we don't have yet, and this is not yet working, but the skill itself does decreases the damage reduction applied to your offhand. It's basically an offhand buff, right? I've kind of already got that on fighter here with the dual wield. Kind of don't want to reuse. That is a left hand, is why I chose that. Maybe we should call these the same thing, right? This is offhand damage level for the fighter at level 22. For adventure, it's level 22, and it's kind of the same thing. All right. They are the same thing, basically. I kind of, yeah. I marked this offhand damage to get changed, because currently I'm just increasing the damage level of the offhand weapon when we get that working. But what I actually want to do is have like your offhand weapon do 50% damage. But then if you have these skills, you can buff it up to like 75% damage kind of thing, right? Offhand damage levels. Let's call this, it is fighter training over here. Fighter training, offhand damage level. Yeah, we'll just copy that. Ambidexterity. So this is going to be the adventurer training version of that. Which is going to break if anybody has points in ambidexterity. I'm not sure that I have a thing set up to auto correct changes like that. I'll have to double check that. Entirely possible. If it finds a skill name that it doesn't recognize, that it just refunds the points. That would not be difficult. But not right now. Anyway, so let's rename that. Offhand damage. Energy regen, we've got ambush, deals 3 times your normal damage. Against an enemy if attacking from behind while stealthed. This is not yet working, but we can certainly get an icon for it. Yeah, I think there were some good ones down here. like these guys. We're already using this one. But, you know, in which case it shouldn't be here. I think we're using this one too, but we are using this one too. We're using this one too, I think, but whatever. I'm well aware of that. Ambush. Stealth backstab. That's kind of not terrible right there. Let's go look at the assassin skills again. I was going to skip these, but now I'm looking at them all. Once again, you go through them all like 10 times, you start to remember them. My coffee always seems to go instantly cold while I'm streaming. I guess proof that I'm focused on what I'm doing. Luckily, I don't mind cold coffee because I drink milk coffee. Cold black coffee is not very tasty, but cold cafe latte, not so bad. That one's kind of silly. Anyway, we're back up to the assassin skills here. Probably just choose one of these. However, to be honest, those are all kind of funky like poison. Well, that's not terrible. But let's see, do we want this one or the one that we had, which is this one? This one. Yeah, I think this one is better actually. Let's go with this. So 13 adventurer, 24 ambush. I'm just trying to keep a nice, somewhat organized naming convention going, as there are a lot of these and there are quite a bit more planned. Main hand damage we've already got, offhand damage we've already got. We just did that. Flashing weapons, dancing weapons, rupture, and disorientation. The distract skill upgrade, so that actually just wants to be using distract with the upgrade border. Rupture, that's not correct. It's got calculated strike on it. Let's find one for rupture. Kind of like this, actually. That's not bad right there. Yeah, let's go with that. Again, 13 adventurer, 28, I believe. Rupture. Set it to a sprite and assign it. Flashing weapons and dancing weapons. What did we do for fighter? Sweeping, no, that's not it. Twisting jabs, shattering strikes, arcing blades. Alright, get in. You're back. Yeah, let's go ahead and give them their own. So, flashing weapons and dancing weapons. this is slashing and piercing, basically. So let's do slashing, and yeah, that's a good one. Flashing weapons for swords. 13 adventurer, 26 flashing weapons. And then one for piercing weapons. I named it dancing weapons. That's kind of a poison looking skill. Maybe I'll change the color. Or do we stumble across something better? Double dagger goodness. Let's look around real quick. That's kind of easier to spot. That guy's being used. I'm just going to delete it. So is this, but double daggers. Who played Double Dragons? Back on the good old NES. There's a fair amount of single daggers. Not a lot of double daggers. I think I'm already using that. Double daggers. Yeah, I think we'll go ahead with, what were we looking at? This one or this one? Dancing weapons. Yeah. What are you doing, kiddies? What are you doing? Adventurer, 26 dancing weapons. We'll assign those. Rupture, disorient, we got. Okay, so we're done with adventure. Archer. Do you missing any of these? I don't think so. Jump back, we should have. Ranged crit. Volley, we don't have yet. Okay. Volley is kind of a difficult one. This is the archer skill section though. Spread shot. Do we have one for spread shot? I guess we do. What is it? It's this guy. Oh, that does look good. We got piercing shot. Volley. Should we just do this one? not bad. Let's peek around real quick at some of the lower ones here. Kind of want something like this, but with arrows. And I think there was something kind of like that. But maybe not. Yep, I think that is good. This is the Archer, let's see, 14, Archer 28. This is the max. No, this isn't the max one. Aerostorm is the max one. This is 24. Volley. So we're going to need one for Aerostorm as well. I don't think we have one for that. Okay. So we just used that one. It's even more arrows than volley, basically. Actually, Aerostorm is rapid launching, isn't it? Go with this one. 14, Archer 28, Aerostorm. Right, and I think we're missing a few more, but let's assign these as long as we're on them. Volley and Aerostorm. Got the rest of these: multi-damage, short bow training, long bow training. These are passives. Short bow and long bow have different icons. Yes? No, they don't. That's no good. Let's consider that its own problem and seek to remedy it right now. Assets, icons, fantasy icon, mega pack. Weapons, bows. There we go. Yeah, that looks like a better longbow than the one we've got. So this is going to go not into the skill icons, but our items. Don't already have one in here. Let's call this longbow. Where'd he go? There he is. Gonna need to mark him as a sprite. And I don't think I can actually leave him in there. Let's see. Item template, weapons, bows. I do have one. Okay, so short bow and long bow. But again, you're just the same. Yeah, so we're not going to use you anymore. We're going to use you. Good. And now we're done with fighter, archer, short bow training, and I'm going to go with the new long bow. there any instance where that old longbow sprite is still going to get picked up? I don't believe so. Should be good. Aerostorm we did. Rapid fire is quick shot upgrade. So it uses that, and we're done with archer. Magician. Chromatic blast. I believe I've got... Oh, there's a missing. Familiar. Yeah, we don't have familiar, and there's definitely some good familiars in there. Don't need... What happened? Sprites. Skills. Don't need you anymore. Down at the bottom, some of these kind of things. That's not terrible. Have not yet found an actual 3D model for the familiar either. Everyone would not be happy if I reused the imp. Ugliest of the models. Not low quality, I mean actually ugly. So yeah, this is heavily subject to change. So let's just go ahead and go with this for now. Because depending on what model we end up using for the familiar itself, this is totally probably going to change. Let's do 15 magician. What level is that? 14 familiar. Set it as a sprite. Okay, anything else we're missing? Dodge, flame shield, mana resist, inversion doesn't have one. Okay, inversion is regain a small amount of health on magic crit hits. That could be just about anything. It's called inversion. Kind of like some of these. Suppose those are more decay-like spells. Again, I can change the color. Easy enough. But maybe something more fitting. It's a little over the top. Kind of like this one. If I color it different. And actually that's not bad color, to be honest. If you're getting health, usually green is for health. The health pool itself, like hit points, are red. So it could make the hand red. Kind of like that. Or, yeah, I kind of like that, to be honest. Let's go with that. Where did that go? There it is. So this is 24. 15. Magicien. 24. Inversion. What was the recent magician ability that we did? Familiar? He's marked as 15, right? Yeah, okay. Kind of felt like I'm going to put that as 14 for a second. Inversion. Sprite. Apply. Select. Select. Apply. Magic damage. Crit multiplier. Magic crit multi. Do we not have one for that? Melee crit multi. Magic crit multi. We do. Magic crit multi. Is that correct? Yeah. Magic crit. This guy. Phase shift. I already grabbed one for that. Etheric binding. This is an upgrade to familiar. So he's going to use the familiar icon with the upgrade border. And we're done with magician. Scholar needs what? I think I went through most of his. Etheric tearing, which is magic crits return a small amount of mana. Similar to what we were just doing, but maybe something more like this, and maybe make it bluish. You bluish. Hope you know where that's from. Yellow submarine. I think this is 16. Scholar 24. Etheric tearing. And we want to color you to be blue. Easy enough. Sprite, a lot of sprites, a lot of skills. And Arcane Explosion and Blink are already assigned. Only 2 left. Spiritualist is missing. Armored Magic. Priest had Armored Healing. This is Armored Magic. More geared towards leather. Sort of like The Witcher. Instead of a paladin doing healing kind of thing. But the general symbol for armor is this kind of stuff. I don't really want to do like a big plate icon, if I can avoid it though. Like say some kind of magic leather looking ability would be preferred. Some more plate and shields. Armored magic. That's not terrible. We could do some kind of a fancy armor icon as well. Icons. Fantasy mega pack. Guess I don't have to go in there. Armor icon pack. You know, could be something like this. It's possible. It's possible. I know there's some cool sets somewhere here. That are like armor sets. It's the ones we were just looking at for the most part. Food, general herb, loot, magic, items. No. Armor sets. I think this is kind of what I wanted to look at. Medium armor sets. Are any of these kind of glowing interestingly? Armored magic. Yeah, let's go with it. I could increase the glow, but that's not bad. So this is what? 16? 17, Spiritualist 26. Spiritualist 26, Armored Magic. Oops, clicked the wrong button. Don't need another Unity instance. What are you doing? Cancel. Sprite. Armored magic. Staff speed. Oh, I don't have a staff speed. Not a whole lot of staves. Staves? Staff speed. Why is that an archer one? That's a little weird. Staff speed. Don't think I'm gonna find one here. Let's browse real quick though. I've been going to chiropractor every other day since I hurt my neck 2 weeks ago. It's doing a lot better. I found a pretty cool place just like 5 minutes from here. I was going to a place that was like 25 minutes away. And it's this whole orthopedic clinic, you know, and they can like administer medicine and take blood samples and do x-rays and everything. It's this big clinic and it's really cool and they really helped me out. The first time I messed my neck up because I let it go so long that I actually like was unable to move and my left hand went numb and all of that. But now that I know the signs, I went in right away and have been getting worked on and I'm doing way better. And whatnot. Let's see those staffs. Could just use one of these, but staff speed. Don't really want to just have a picture of a staff. if can be done. There's just not a lot of big long sticks in these guys. That one archer skill, I suppose, was not bad. So I guess we will use it. Nobody really cares. Am I using this anywhere? I don't think so. That could work too. It's either this or this one. That's a little weird though. I think we'll go with this one. I feel like it just kind of looks like a bunch of other skills. I don't think it's actually being used anywhere though. Oh, there it is. Main hand damage. Okay, so that one is being used. So let's delete it so we don't do that again. And go ahead with this guy. Even though that's a little weird for spiritualist. I don't know why that's an archer skill, supposedly. 17 spiritualist 26 staff speed. Mark it as a sprite. And assign it. Seance and calming protection. But this is just an upgrade, so this is protect. And I changed that, to this one. Seance. So there should definitely be some cool skills for seance. Maybe down in the warlock section. This summons a whirlwind of damage around you. Like an AoE thing around you while healing you. That's a little too gross, because you're actually kind of you're like a shaman, right? Low-level shaman spell. Don't want it to be too creepy, because you're not like a necromancer. That's not terrible. That's not terrible either. That's better. Should we go with this? Should we go with this? What is that? Kind of looks like a soul floating around. That's cool. Maybe a little overboard. That's pretty cool too. Let's go with this one. I like that one too, honestly. Lots of circles. But let's go with this one. "17 spiritualist, 28 seance." And we're done with spiritualist. Now we just need priest. Last but not least, greater heal we don't have yet. Interesting. Close that. Greater heal. What is the normal heal? It's just that light thing here, huh? Got a bigger heal here. Is this actually being used somewhere? For heal. We'll take a look at those in-game and see if that's too similar. Guided blows. This is bludgeoning weapons and blades for priests who basically evolve into clerics, right? Swords I'm not too sure about. I think it can just be slashing weapons. It doesn't have to be sword. I like the idea of a zealot with a sword. What's it called again? Guided blows and guided blades. These are a little comic-y in this section here. Let's take a look at some other ones first. I'm thinking mostly up here. Guided blades, and what do they do? Gain extra melee skill. Could do this and this. I'm thinking. My feet are cold. I've got socks on that are a little too small for me. Let's do you and you. This is 18 priest, 26 guided blades. And you named them 1 and 2. That's alright. But this is actually guided blows. And I think that might be it. Do we have one more? Guided, which one did I select? Blows. And guided blades. Armor healing we got. One hand speed, land hands, protection. Alright, I think we're done with the icons. Cool. Let's take a peek in game at them. I'm going to pass out tonight at probably like 8 o'clock. Get in. What you may doing? Can you bring your head up enough for the camera to see? Not quite. Fighter. These are the same. Offhand damage level, two-handed damage level. Okay, so we need a two-handed icon for fighter. I'll go ahead and go full screen. Or mostly full screen. These are the same. Slam and sunder. Okay, so slam is incorrect. Is that just a mistake? Kitty on the keyboard. Slam. Oh, nope, we don't have a slam. Okay. So we need slam and two-handed damage. That's heal and that's greater heal. That could be better, but... Alright. Looks good. So we just need slam and two-handed damage for the fighter. Was using offhand damage. This needs to be two-handed. So we need one for slam, and we're done. Let's go down to the warrior skills. Yeah. Reduces defense. Sunder reduces armor. So the punch to the face actually isn't terrible, but that's a little comic-y. He's got like a tooth coming out there. That's not terrible either, but I kind of want a weapony skill, right? Probably not slashy stabby sword type. That's not a bad one. Slam. Big mace. I'll keep that as maybe as we go up to look more. Maybe one of the paladin types. These are mostly magical looking. Yeah, I think that is our winner chicken dinner. We could change the color so it's not so green, but this is 11. No, 12, 24. There we go. All right. Now, the programming for all but two of the skills is more or less complete. I've marked a variety of them. For example, monsters aren't actually capable of being feared just yet. And some things like that. Monster movement speed, I believe I have fixed, but I'll leave this as to look at to make sure. And then we need particle effects for some of the magic spells. Blink, we got working properly the other day here. Spell absorption, gain mana when hit by a magic attack. I'm gonna leave that as double check that. Cure, we don't really have a use yet because we don't have like spider bites biting yet. And that's actually a pretty good one. Let's dive into that. That sounds good. So, easiest way about that. Well, first of all, we're going to need a spider bite or a poison icon. So let's say you've been poisoned. What does that poison debuff icon look like? Just generic, doesn't have to be a spider. Could even be that spider thing that we saw earlier, but like something like this. There you go. Poison. Easily identifiable. This is not a skill icon, but it's not a bad place to put it. Skills, let's make a new folder called mob skills. And we'll put that in here and we'll call this poison. And we need to make sure that we go in and make sure that's a sprite for 1, and then let's go make a poison attack. I think we're done with that folder. I know it's a little hard to see what I'm doing over here, but basically I've got my entity abilities, right? We built this up the other day. Let's do, yeah, we don't have to call it spider bite. Let's just call it poison. Firebolt doesn't need a sprite. Poison does, though. Damage type is poison. So this is the first time we're doing something like this. Damage is going to be damage over time, I believe, gets divided by the tick count. That's how that should be. Yeah, damage over time divided by the tick count. So let's say your normal mob attack is 50 damage, right? But this is going to be over time. So let's do 100 damage over 5 ticks, which would be 15 seconds. Or we could even churn that up. But I think 15 seconds. Yeah, I kind of like it when those linger, even, you know, like after you've killed the spider or whatever. You're poisoned for a while. Let's say more like 30 seconds. So that would be 10. And maybe 100 is a little weak there because you're only going to be taking 10 damage per tick when you've got 1,000 base hit points. Don't want to go crazy with it though. Maybe do 150. And this, so yeah, I think that's all we need. But it's not a projectile. And later on we'll add a target effect so your character has some, you know, green stuff going on or something. But this should be enough to let you get poisoned. Now all we need is spiders, for example, to be able to do that. So entity ability holder, we want to add one of these to melee DPS, and it's going to be the poison ability. And we want to make our, how do we set up our archetypes? Archetype is only melee DPS. Damage type is going to be piercing. What's up with that? Doesn't like me selecting that? What's going on there? I got that working, so we can turn these off. It's going to force us to recompile, and we'll leave you open. We're done with you. What were we looking at? Monster AI. Entity stat. Archetype chances. Where is that? It's got an array of entity archetype chances which have a archetype and a chance. No, that's not what I was looking at. I was looking at damage. Damage type. Public damage types. Damage type equals bludgeoning. And for some reason, setting that to piercing, it did not like. Well, that's because null is 0. Piercing can't also be 0. So it shouldn't assign null as 0 if I'm forcing piercing to be 0. It's a little weird. Who is using this, though? I wonder. We are using it in specific instances. If I change this here, is it going to affect any... Let's get this compiled since I changed those debugs. Is it, for example, going to go through the item templates and mess those up? I want to double check and make sure. Down in resources, item templates, weapons, for example, daggers. Do these have, are these marked as a specific type of damage? They are not yet. Damage type null. So it's not gonna cause problems here. And that's true for all of these right there. Oh, this guy is bludgeoning. Okay, so just piercing's kind of messed up anyway. Well, then it's now different. Let's go ahead and set this to be 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Doesn't actually matter what the number is. Bit of a bummer that that is now going to show up at the bottom of the list, I believe, but again, not a problem. We haven't really set up damage type logic yet. That's kind of one of the things that we're doing right now with poison damage happening for the first time. I just thought I'd go ahead and set the spider to be piercing damage, since they're going to be biting you, right? So these guys are piercing, these guys are bludgeoning. Bows are probably going to be piercing too, right? Currently not. It actually didn't put that down at the bottom. It put it up at the top. It's a little weird. I guess it follows the actual order that I write them in. That's nice, instead of their actual numeric value. Other piercings do not exist. Okay. So we're done with the resources folder. Go back to our spider. It doesn't actually matter, like I say, yet that what type of damage they're set to be doing. But as long as we're in here, we might as well get that set up. So now they're 100% going to be melee DPS we set up earth elementals, for example, to be able to load as different one. Yeah, okay, so 1.0 means 100%. So that's fine to have the spider at 1. They're only going to spawn as melee DPS. And they're going to have an ability to poison you. And I kind of do not fully remember how we decided whether that's going to trigger or not. We need a cooldown and stuff, don't we? I did not set up a cooldown. How does that work, though? Let's remember by finding out where we're using that. For each ability we're capable of doing, make sure that the skill is not on cooldown. If it's not, we're just going to go ahead and use it as soon as we can, and then put it on cooldown. So we do want it on cooldown. So basically a spider is going to bite you as soon as it can with poison. Let's have it do damage when it does that as well. So it is going to do like 25 when it bites you, even though a normal attack is more like 100. And the cooldown is going to be more like, I don't know, I guess it could reapply it. It should be attempting to apply the same level with a longer cooldown if you've had it already on you for 15 seconds and you still haven't killed the spider. It can re-poison you. And it's going to be less damage on that specific attack, but more damage over time. So you don't want that to trigger, but it can every 15 seconds. Skill name is not Firebolt. It's Poison. I think that's good. Let's go ahead and add it to Scorpions as well, who likewise we want to be where's their AI? Melee DPS, right? Well, Scorpions are kind of tough. Maybe they're generic. Yeah, I'll leave them as generic. And they're also going to be doing piercing damage. What is pinching? Does pinching count as piercing? I guess it kind of does. Piercing or slashing? I don't know. Crushing. It's not really bludgeoning. Crushing. I don't want to make another damage type just for that, but we're going to give them the ability to poison as well, and they can go ahead and do it as generics because we're going to have them all be generic. And we just drag that in there, in here, and it should work. And let's go give it a test. Scorpion's going to be easier to find than a spider, but I can actually spawn them manually with my cheat codes, as long as I know what number they are on the manager. Somewhere up here. Viper too. Okay, we got Spider, we got Viper. Where's Scorpion? Scorpion's 29. Okay, I'm going to remember that. And let's go set up Viper too as long as we are here doing this stuff. Vipers are definitely melee DPS. Piercing with a melee DPS ability known as Poison. So now there's lots of stuff that can poison us. Let's go make sure that works. Via a Scorpion. You see my cat pile. That's 3 cats. All lumped together. Kind of wonder if one of them isn't suffocating. I think that's the tail of the gray cat sticking out there. So his head is under the orange cat. I don't know how that works, but they keep on kicking. Let's just go out here a little bit. I don't quite remember the cheat code. And let's get him to bite me. And he poisoned me, but the icon didn't load properly. It looks like entity template of poison not found. Skill template manager. Get entity ability template. Did I not load these properly somewhere? Entity ability template. Was I manually plugging those in? Because Fireball was working. But it is actually the buff UI. Yeah, trying to find the icon for that. So I think we don't actually have these loading properly. This is the skill template manager. Entity ability. Oh, was I plugging them in manually? That's not really how we want to do that. Monsters, entity abilities. Preferably we would just let that load, but that would have to be in the resources folder to do that. So I guess this is how we're going to do it for now. Just have to remember that when I add new ones right here. We want to add poison. And let's try that again. Let's see if I can report this weird spam. Fortunately, I cannot purge the chat in the stream log here like this specifically. I'm going to look that up later though. Oh, and I can send messages from my streaming software. I didn't know that. Yeah, I don't think I can. I can refresh it, but that doesn't update the screen. I know I can. It just, it just bothers me having. Oh, there's Meanie. What's happened to Meanie? I guess I won't clear it. I I got Meanie in here now. I was going to clear my chat just to get rid of that, but not a big deal. How's Meanie doing? I think just the timer here is weird. What's going on with the timer? One 31. That's the tooltip. Whatever that's supposed to be. And what is this? 0 minutes 26.01. Oh yeah, I changed this just yesterday from an integer to a float. So now I need to round it. That's why I left the buff UI open here. Alright, so minutes, math for to int, string seconds equals this, and we want to do math function dot, do we want a floor or do we want a round? Floor, do we want a ceiling? I think floor to int that guy, and then to string that works, and then if seconds length equals 1. If minutes dot length. No. If seconds dot length is only equal to 1, seconds equals 0 plus seconds. So if it's less than 10, it'll say 0.9. That's unnecessary. Just let it be 9 if it's 9. Minutes times 60. Why am I doing this? Active buffs timer minus minutes times 60. So we're doing minutes to string plus that. Okay, and that's fair. And that's why we have the 0, huh? So it's not 1, 1 or 0, 1. Okay, I get it. 0 semicolon, and now we're rounding that so it's not all big and long. That's fine. And the tooltip is 1131. That is buff.skill.toString. Buff is being fed here. Buff.skill.toString. Shouldn't that be buff.description? There is no description. Alright, well, in doing this, engage entity template effect skill equals skill name, add entity effect goes to add entity effect. New buff equals new active buff. What's up, Art? Effect.source. Okay, so that's not what we want. Who set that up? Is that doing that up here too? That's no good. Add effect. Add buff, add effect. This should be effect.skill.toString. In all of these cases. Let's try that once more, and assuming... What's up, Lost Echo? Thank you very much. It's been a bit of a endeavor to get all this new skill combat stuff going. It's been some ups and downs, but it is definitely coming together. For those of you just joining us now, I got up at 5 a.m. this morning, and I'm really tired. So my voice is kind of raspy, and I got kind of some bags under my eyes, and my cats are all asleep. But, you know, you do what you got to do. You drink a lot of coffee. I keep forgetting to save after I leave the swamp. I don't want to be out in the swamp. I'm going to teleport home. I'm going to zoom out and head into the woods, and I'm going to save. And I'm going to hide my screen because I'm going to cheat. And now he has poisoned me for 30 seconds. I'm riposting him to death. But I am taking 15 damage as expected. And he did reapply it after 15 seconds. So that's all working as intended, I believe. Still taking damage. Looks good. Let's make sure it wears off. I got a report that some of these buffs aren't, you know, it says poison, cool. Aren't wearing off properly. That one did. And looks good. Okay. So now that we have poison, did you figure out some cheats, Art? They're super secret. Yeah, that's what I'm working on. So we got Cure is it's actually a disciple skill, isn't it? So we want to go look at that under resources, skill templates, disciple cure. Oh, that's ingenuity. Yeah, poisoned weapons, definitely. I think there should be sharpening stones, poison application, you know, other stuff like that. And that it's a little difficult because it's kind of like a temporary buff that gets stored on the item itself. You don't really want to store that on the player, right? So, yeah, and I do definitely want to do like runes. Like I always kind of imagined enchants as more like passive stat upgrades, right? But then to have runes be like actions and like reactions. So like, you know, a chance to cause extra damage on hit, or like a poison rune, I think there should also be alchemy potions, though, like actual poison that you put on a dagger or a sword or whatever. Could go on pretty much any weapon. Maybe not a bludgeoning weapon, right? Slashing or piercing weapon, and the only thing would be coating it to be able to be stored in the item itself. So that would but it would take 10 minutes, you know. But so now we have an ailment in game called poison. So I was going to get cure to work for that. And what does improved cure do? So anyway, kind of, you know, like, I know the way that that kitty's sitting in front of the keyboard again. I think like EverQuest, and there's a variety of games, Magic the Gathering, some of these that do this, where you actually get, you know, it's not just you're poisoned, it's you've got a level of poison, right? I'm trying to think if there's some way that we could approach that so that the improved cure abilities would make your normal cure work even better. So let's say poison has, or maybe it stacks. Maybe with each spider bite, you get a stack of really light poison, and it goes up to 5 stacks. That's true. We don't have a reason for the levels of cure even yet, do we? So, yeah, maybe each bite applies 2 stacks, and it goes up to 5. And maybe if it's like a champion spider, it goes up to 10. So then improved cure can actually get rid of 10 stacks at once. And we can increase the cooldown of cure by like 15. Maybe we'll go down to 10 at level 5. I think we should go down to 15. So let's go up from there. Kind of like this, maybe. And then I guess it would just need to be one stack per attack. Means we would want to change the ability logic a little bit. Yeah, you see how the one's got his arms over the other? He's always doing that. Our orange cat's the youngest, so he loves the gray cat there. It's kind of our leader cat. Monster poison abilities add 1 stack per attack up to 5. Champions stack up to 10, etc. Let's say improved cures, remove um, 6 to 10 stacks. We could even say that zeros stack up to 15 or 20 if they're that kind of a monster. Trying to think. We'd have to set up stacking. Which isn't that big of a deal, right? Let's say we've got an effect which basically gets churned into an active buff. No, that's the buff UI specific thing. I think this guy's good now, but when the entity ability template attempts to add an effect to the player, I don't think there's any buffs that are going to be able to stack, but let's make a stack or an effect capable of int max stacks equals 1 by default. Butterfingers. Now, when this gets sent to the player, we're going to look for the same source. It's only looking for sources. That's not really quite enough. We need to do if it's the same source and current effects I dot skill is equal to effect dot skill, because you could have a monster doing multiple skills, right? Maybe it's got poison and disease or something like that. Kind of getting ahead of ourselves, but I think that is going to be important for the cure logic. So I did not get into the latest PoE build, by the way. I have been sucked into Lost Ark. If it's the same source and it's the same skill, go ahead and remove it and reapply it. So we need some stacking logic in here. Let's see. If it's the same source and it's the same skill, we want to say if current effects and I really should just go ahead and grab that effect E equals something like this. Let's just, yeah, there's already an effect being used up there. So let's say if E.source and E.skill are the same, and likewise if E.max stacks is greater than 1 and effect dot, no, hold up. Effect is the one that's incoming. So if effect max stacks is greater than 1 and E dot, I guess we need a current stacks, huh? Public int stacks equals 1. And we need to make sure we're copying that as well. Whoever's using this, I don't remember, but could be important. So if we are capable of having more than one stack and our current stacks is less than effect.maxStacks, we're actually just going to add a stack rather than remove it. I guess what we're going to do is effect.stacks equals math function clamp. We're going to make it e.stacks plus 1 with a minimum of 1 and a maximum of effect.maxStacks, so it never goes over it. Using whatever the current stack is plus 1, right? But then we're going to actually add this anyway. To make sure that the duration and whatnot gets reset. In either case, we're going to remove and add. So I guess we don't need that actually. We'll just do that. Like that. What are you kitties doing? They're good kitties. I don't know where Yume went. So if we're capable of having more than one stack, we currently don't have max stacks. We're going to add a stack, but make sure that we don't go over max stacks. And we're going to remove the old buff and apply the new one. Now, when we handle effects, I think that's way up at the top. Current buff, current effects. We're going to alter stat. This is way too clumped up. So if we're supposed to be taking damage, we're going to take health per tick times current effect I dot stacks. And let's go ahead and just make that a little float. Damage equals like this. Since we're doing it in a variety of different places here, rather than having it typed out and calculated repeatedly. Looks good. If it's going up, we're going that way. If it's going down, we're going that way. Good, good, good. Alter stat, damage, fine. Okay, and what else do we need? I think that is fine for that. So the monster poison is going to be going out and stacking up now, up to 5. So we actually need ability template needs to be able to specify that. Public int max stacks equals 1. And I'm gonna, for the poison, turn that up to 5. And we can improve that to be champion capable logic later. I am really hungry though. Again, I had breakfast at 5. How many hours is that? 7 hours ago. Stomach's gurgling. I might end the stream here 30 minutes early. I'm also really tired. But I'm not the nap type. Yeah, I've only had 2 coffees. I could go for more coffee. I could go get a Mountain Dew. Something like that. I'm kind of losing steam here, though. Poison stacks 5. Now, when the monster goes to apply that, we've got our start coroutine engage, yada yada yada, player stats effect dot max stacks equals max stacks. So now it should be capable of applying up to 5 stacks of poison at once. Kind of the main problem we've got now is that actually the player's not going to be aware of that unless we upgrade the buff UI to understand that. Timer text, skill, public, int, stacks equals 1. Where do these come from? Add entity, effect, active buff, new buff. You're gonna make it. Let's make a stacks new buff timer text. I don't think we need to save it, but let's do it anyway. Stacks text equals null. Stacks text equals find stacks get component text. Good. And then where are you using that? Somewhere down here, no? Refresh is, I guess, going to go through them and reassign them. There's the timer text, and then we want the stack text really only needs to go up once though, right? So yeah, I don't think we really need to store that. Let's just grab it once. Something like, let's go down underneath. Here, and let's say dot text equals, or I guess we want to do if effect dot stacks is greater than 1. So we don't really care if it's only 1 stack. If we've got more than 1, we want to change it to be effect dot stacks dot toString, and we need to compile that, and I don't drink energy drinks, but I do drink Mountain Dew once in a while. We are talking about poison. This is true. We want to look at resources, UI, buff icon. We now need a stacks text for this guy up here. Something like this. I think that is good enough. And we're going to call him stacks. Save and leave. And that should work. So scorpion poison, we want to actually change this to be let's say a 5-second cooldown, and we want to churn these stats around a bit. I might not be scaling this properly, I'm a little worried about, but let us find out. Normally our attack damage is gonna basically be 50, right? So we could do just like your basic attack, right? For 50 damage. And generally when we apply that, we are giving it a bit of a random range somewhere. Right here, random range of 10, minus 10, plus 10. I want to go ahead and do that here as well, which is actually before we do the skill stuff. So this is going to happen if the skill was not used. Then we're still using the attack holder with the attack, but that only gets applied in the event of a projectile. No, it still happens here. Okay, so that is going to go through. It is going to get randomized a bit. Only if the damage of the ability is greater than 0, but we're actually going to use the attack holder that was sent from the mob itself, which is going to be using its base attack damage. So it's going to do a full attack and apply the effect. But only if I set the damage greater than 0. That's a little weird. It's not actually going to use this 50. Could add in a little bit more logic here. Don't really feel good leaving it like this, because I'm going to forget that next time I look at it. It should be something like, if we're going to use the skill, I guess we want to kind of alter this stuff, right? To do the EAT dot damage like that, and make sure that the damage type is using the ability damage type, and then we can pass that in there. Right? I think that works better. Let's get that compiling. So we're going to do a full attack if we've got it at 50. It's going to randomize it within a range of 20, but it's going to apply the poison effect. But if we get 5 stacks of poison, that's going to be 750 damage. That's way too much. So let's say 5 stacks is good for 150, so we want to divide that by 5, so we want to go down to like 30. And then if you get a full 5 stacks, you're going to be up to 150. Yeah, we could up that a little more. What's 200 divided by 5? I'm not smart. I'm not going to lie to you. $40, what would 50 be? 250. 250 is a bit much. But it does have a 5-second cooldown, so you'd have to be fighting the spider or whatever for 25 seconds to get full stacks. Or maybe you've got 2 spiders on you. Yeah, I'll go with 40. Yeah, if there's 2 spiders, actually 2 spiders would be 2 separate poison stacks. Maybe we'll leave it at 30. Let's give that a try. I think that will work now. And we should be able to see the stacks too. Max stacks is 5, blah, blah, blah. And if the stacks are applying properly, then we can make use of the cure ability properly by going in, finding damage types of either poison or disease, and removing 5 stacks. If we've still got removal stacks left over, we'll continue on and look for more buffs, etc. And we'll get 1 biting me. I've got 1 stack. It shouldn't show me the 1 if I get 1. And I gotta wait 5 seconds. There, I've got 2 stacks on me now. And I'm taking 6 damage. And I've got 3 stacks. I'm taking 9. Okay. And the second scorpion is not... he's overriding the old stacks somehow. So it's the same same source and same skill. It's actually only looking for that, isn't it? Okay, so if it goes through that logic, it removes. Otherwise, it's going to add a new one, which supposedly will have its own source. Let's double check that the source is being set up properly. Effect.source equals entity.net ID. So those scorpions should each have their own specific net ID, which we can double check right here. That's 588. This guy is 587. So they shouldn't be stacking. Maybe the buff UI is putting them... No, it's only got 1 up there. Should be 2, since there's 2 monsters attacking me. So what happened there? Player stats, add entity effect, go through all of them. If you find one that it's the same source and the same skill, reapply it, do the stack logic. Otherwise, add it anew. I guess I'm doing remove at while I cycle through these in a forward direction, so that's not okay. I need to go through these backwards if I'm going to do that. Current effects dot count minus 1. As long as you are greater than or equal to 0, you're going to continue, and you're going to be going backwards. That would probably cause the problem that we were seeing. I believe that fixes that. Likewise, we want to be going backwards here. Current effects dot count minus 1 greater than or equal to 0 minus minus. Remove effect, remove all effects, that's fine. He's already going backwards anyway. Look, get, add. Let's go ahead and churn you around as well. Current effects dot count minus 1 greater than or equal to 0 minus minus. Okay. Give each stack a variable. Yeah, we definitely want to have the ability to apply multiple types. That's why I added the source and skill check. And let's do that up here actually as well, because it shouldn't be just yeah. And current effects. I think up until now it was only environmental sources, so there kind of really wasn't a need to be checking the skill, but these should only stack if they're the same. We'll get that compiling while I look at it again, make sure I didn't mess anything up. Add effect, good, fine. Everything's going in reverse. Let's try that again. Because yeah, we're expecting 2 scorpions to give me 2 different poison buffs. And we might expand on the logic to be able to specify that. Maybe even if you've got 5 imps throwing fireballs at you, you're only capable of getting 1 burn. But if you've got multiple scorpions stinging you, you're capable of getting multiple stacks. I got 1 on me, he's poisoned me twice. And then this guy has, yeah, he's still overriding me. What's happening? Monster AI. This is being called... What is the entity being used? It is this monster AI, so that should work. Entity.netID. Monster AI is passing himself into that, right? So that should be good. Well, let's see what is going on. Add entity effect. That's the buff UI. Player stats. Add entity effect. Let's do a debug. Make sure we know what's coming in here. Effect dot skill being added from effect dot source and let's say Remove at I, and then you want to add to it. But we're going backwards. So that should be alright, right? You've got a new one that's coming in. Current effects add. It's not actually going to get added unless... Okay, so yeah, this returns. My brain is not moving at full speed here. Let's just follow the debugs here for a minute. Source and skill match found at index I. Otherwise, we're actually going to make it down to here and skill match not found, adding a new. How come this logic isn't being called here? Likewise, add is being called, but these are not. Shouldn't all the same logic be necessary? Skill match not found at index, adding a new. Let's get that compiling while I think about it. Should be coming in, same skill, different sources. It's going to go through the current effects and look for the same source and the same skill. Only if it finds the same will it remove and add a new. Otherwise it's going to add a new. Maybe it's just the buff UI doesn't like this. Oh, there it is. Make sure there isn't already one. That is not acceptable. If active buffs I dot source doesn't exist. Active buffs is a list of active buffs. We need to have a source with these guys, apparently, for the buff UI to handle properly. Public string source. If active buff source is equal to effect.source and the skills are the same. This is a number, not a string. They are the same. You want to remove it because we're going to be building it anew. So I think the logic down here was actually working just fine. It was actually the buff UI wasn't spawning a second icon for us. So we want to make sure that our new active buff skill new buff dot source is equal to our effect dot source. Make sure it remembers that for judging against itself. It's very judgmental. Let's get that compiling. Active buffs add yada yada yada. I think that is all good now. I left the debugs in anyway just in case, but I don't think we'll need them. But let us see. I want to make burritos for lunch, but I might have to go to the fancy supermarket if I want to do that. I'm not sure I want to go to the fancy supermarket when I'm pretty tired. So I might have to sit at that one intersection. If I go to the other fancy supermarket, I don't think they have tortillas. I do have taco shells, though. I could make tacos, as long as I got beef. But I don't have any sour cream, is why I want to go to the... I might be able to get sour cream. I don't think either of the supermarkets right by me here have sour cream. Tacos without sour cream, though, I don't know. That's a tough one. In your boots. Bit by one. I guess I'm getting stung by him. There we go. I got 2 different buffs going on. I would like to improve this logic. Currently just randomly spams them out in some position over here, but I think we should make that a little more controlled to be sure that you can see them. But I am getting poisoned up, so even if I run, I'm coughing up blood. It's not too bad. So now we just need cure to work. 10 minutes to lunch. Cascading what now? Taco John's big beef burrito. Yeah. I would dig for some American Mexican food. Running while poisoned. That's... You're not wrong, but currently don't have any sort of cure mechanism, so yeah, you could do reduced movement speed, but it's punishing enough as is, and we can add debilitation as a separate ability if necessary. But not right now, regardless. You totally could do that, absolutely, if moving increased the damage, but I just think that's too complicated to explain to players in some obvious way. Yeah, like you're poisoned, you're taking damage. I think that's enough. If it's not damaging enough, we can just turn the damage up rather than try to keep people from running. And most classes are not going to have cures, even though we'll make potions and stuff for people that don't have the cure ability. But you don't want to punish anyone that's not a priest just because they don't, like what if you've got a 5-minute disease from hyenas or something, and now every step you take, you're like making a consciously bad decision, but you can't do anything about it, and it's just kind of like layered punishment for just the sake of punishment. Should I just make it a heal thing, like curing curing by levels, and then if what? Where did I get the actual final healing? There it is. Let's do a final curing. Final curing. This is one of those things that's pure utility. So it's not actually going to... be based on like your magic abilities, like your healing abilities. So I don't think I actually need to call this at all. I do want to do get healing by level, so I guess I just don't need final healing. Let's do a get curing. Curing by levels. Curing by levels, level -1. We don't need final, just do get curing. We do need... yeah, we don't need the client either, since we know the level of the stat we're trying, or of the ability already. And then we're going to pass player stats cure, which currently doesn't exist. Don't want to put it at the very bottom where all the multiplayer stuff is. We'll put it down here though. Public void cure int stacks. And we want to go through all of the current effects, basically, right? In reverse, and look for if current effects dot... so we don't know how to actually look for like damage or disease. We don't want to have to look at them specifically by name. But we probably do want a damage type of some sort. Oh look, vum.ong. I don't know why those bother me so much. It's just, I think it's just bots trying to build up. What do they call it? You know, in Reddit, karma. Like they're trying to build up comment karma. Look at me, I typed something somewhere. I'm a real person. 'Cause that's not even a link. I don't know. Weirds me out though. Bothers me that stuff is so prevalent. Yeah, I reported them to YouTube. That's a YouTube problem, not a Twitch problem. So I think our effects need to have a damage type, don't they? Level, duration, public, damage type. Damage type. Let's just make it null by default. Let's make sure we copy that if we're copying for some reason, and when our this guy is going to create it, we want to make sure that he sets the damage type to equal the this is the thing itself. Do we already have damage type like that? We do. Active buff UI doesn't care about that, but the player stats is now going to be storing the effect as is. Let's get rid of these debugs. It just adds that as is to its own storage, so we should be able to look at if the damage type is equal to poison or current effects damage type is equal to damage types disease. We want to remove as many stacks as we can. So basically if, first of all, I want to stop recalling this every time. Effect equals this guy. If the effect dot stacks is less than or equal to stacks, then we can remove it. We're going in reverse, so that's fine. Current effects dot remove at I and stacks is going to first minus equal the effect stacks. So if there's a cure of 5 incoming and we've got 3 stacks of poison, we'll move our stacks available down to 2, remove the effect completely, and then we will continue onward to the next one. Otherwise, this means that we don't have enough stacks to get rid of it completely. Is it actually a link? ONG? I thought I tried that last time someone posted one. Or someone posted one earlier today. That was, yeah, it is. That's weird. I guess you can make anything a link nowadays. Or a web domain. If we don't have enough stacks, this means that our stacks are greater than the stacks that are coming in. We want to effect dot stacks minus equal the stacks that we've got available to us. And I think we can break out of the for loop then. So we're either continuing or we're breaking, so this stuff has all become unreachable code. So that's not correct. But in the event of a complete removal, we're going to do that. Current effects remove at. In this event, we're not actually doing that. Stats need updating. Play interface, update stats. Target remove effect. What now? uint source. Network connection. Oh, that's not enough data, is that? Target remove effect. He needs a source and a skill. Remove effect, source, comma, string, skill, and current effects I dot source, no, skill is equal to the skill. Only then are you allowed to get rid of it completely. Skill. Probably upset somebody else like this guy. Current effects I dot skill, and one more problem or two down here. Likewise, you, sir, now need to make sure you pass the skill to the client. Source, comma. How do we just know? Yes, source isn't enough. Effect dot source. Effect dot skill. If we've removed it, we can do that and continue. I guess we don't need the continue break logic. Let's just make sure that as long as I equals 0 and stacks is greater than 0. So if we run out of stacks, we don't need to continue the for loop. And in any case, we're going to do this, but I also want to call the play interface buff UI dot, can we do like a refresh? Because a cure has come in. I think that is warranted. Do we have a client dot what am I thinking of? Client dot player interface. Refresh. Yeah, I don't have a buff UI, do I? I've got a lot of things like this, but assuming we have passed this down to here, remove effect source skill, and he is going to, he's not actually calling it. Let's make sure that the buff UI, well, if we call remove, I guess it's, yeah, it's going to auto update itself there, so it should be all right. This isn't a float, this is going to be an int. And you're going to be an int. And curing by levels is also going to be an int, because these are stacks, not arbitrary healing amounts. I think that will be error free. Maybe not. Nope. Player combat. Remove effect. Gotta make sure that we add the skill to these as well. And torches in, somebody's messaging me. Torches in a tower are perhaps not properly changing ownership. Dungeon AI, report monster death. If you've cleared it and you're in single player, you gain control of the tower. The owner gets assigned, but yeah, the torches are not getting properly assigned, are they? That's an easy fix, supposedly. Get component in children facility. Let's see, this is going to be a facility array, facilities equals that for each facility fac in facilities. If fac dot facility type is equal to torch, then fac dot owner should now be the client dot player name. I believe that will fix what you are suggesting. Single player only. Should be good. I do not like getting up at 5 a.m. I need to assign. I'm going to go to lunch. Well, but you go to bed. Well, I guess you don't go to bed, but that's your own fault. I go to bed to make sure that I get 8 hours of sleep, because I don't do good with when I don't get like at least like 7 hours of sleep. As you can see. The only thing left I need to change here, though, really is the skill template. Cure. He's currently a heal, good. So he needs curing by levels. We don't need healing by levels. We need curing by levels. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we did some cooldowns on him. 15. I think all around is fair enough. And so that should let the player cure, and we'll get a better sound and a graphic for that eventually. And we set up the logic for this properly, right? I don't think we did. Yeah, we did. If curing is better than 1, you're going to send cure to the player, and it's going to attempt to remove as many stacks as possible. I think that should work. So I will give that a try later on, and maybe just sleep for the rest of the day, but who knows. Yeah. Feel free to bring up anything you run into. What are you kiddies doing? Being all nice and cute. You hear him purring over there. I'm gonna go play with the cats, figure out my lunch situation. They've got another bed right next to them there. They just like to lump in that one. Unfortunately, I'm not a napper, so I'm just going to stay up till night and then probably sleep for 10 hours. But thanks for stopping by, those that did. Thanks for listening to me ramble if you were here at the beginning, or you're watching this on YouTube and I rambled at the beginning. Sorry my voice is raspy and I'm all tired, but we'll be here tomorrow is the plan, and best wishes.